seasoned sea scallops with arugula and blood oranges. We've taken 2 East Coast sea scallops, shelled, removed from the abductor muscle, and now we're going to roast them in our stone oven. The stone oven provides a high, intense heat that provides really great flavor for meats and fish. For our salad, we have some leaves of arugula. To that, we're going to add sliced Calabrian chilies. Our blood orange slices, pine nuts, a little of the reserved oil from the Calabrian chilies, and finally some blood orange vinegar. Season with a little bit of kosher salt. Once the scallops have gotten a nice crust and browned, they're ready to serve. And then finally, just some torn basil leaves to finish the salad. Hello, I'm Craig Cooper. I'm the executive chef of Michael Jordan Steakhouse at the Intercontinental Hotel in Chicago, Illinois. Right now we're going to produce one of our dishes. This is a real simple dish, tuna crudo. We've taken slices of big eye tuna, sliced thin with a sashimi knife, and simply dressed them with some Ligurian olive oil, roasted olives, and a little bit of cracked pepper. This dish is all about ingredients. We work with some great fish purveyors who provide us with some of the freshest stuff out of the ocean. And this is that product served very simply. We're just going to spread this out on the plate. Add in the roasted olives. And then finish. We have some capers that we've flash fried in olive oil. A drizzle of lemon, and then finished with some Maldon sea salt, and then some leaves of micro basil. It's important for this dish that your fish has to be as fresh as possible and your olive oil of the best quality. So we have here, our next dish is going to be our dry-aged Delmonico steak. We cut our Delmonico steaks from boneless, dry-aged ribeyes.
Total? Everything?
Dry aging is a process that used to be very regular here in the United States and now is turned into a specialty. Whole loins are put into special coolers that have regulated humidity, temperature, and airflow. After being in there for a regulated amount of time, enzymes begin to break down the muscle fiber, making the meat more tender, and through evaporation you get flavor that becomes much more intense in the meat. It's super important, though, that we trim off the whole dry-aged surface for our guests. If you leave a little bit on, it'll give a sour taste that can be off-putting to a lot of guests. The outside of the meat has become dry, almost like beef jerky, and you may encounter some small mold. This is normal, and it will just be trimmed off from the meat. While we're trimming, we're trying not to trim any of our red meat, just taking off the outside dry aged surface, making sure to leave fat. That's going to help in our cooking process. We then sculpt and mold the meat into a uniform shape, and then we'll tie it off for you. You can see that the texture is a little drier than normal wet aged meat, and just from the aroma you get a great nutty flavor already. Let's go to our broiler. Here at the restaurant, we cook all of our steaks under broilers that use extra hot ceramic tiles. A broiler differs from a grill in that the heat comes from the top and is cooked on grates, whereas a grill, the heat comes from the bottom. The high heat of the broiler allows us to get the char that makes steakhouse steaks different than what you can get at most other restaurants. Once the meat has achieved the right temperature, it's important that we rest it before we serve it. The juices need to even out in the meat so that they won't bleed out when the guest cuts into the steak. The steak then gets finished with sea salt, garnished with enoki mushrooms and chives, and then at the table we'll pour our balsamic ginger jus.